the currency in Iran has dropped, had hit a new record. 2 million, 2 million reals for each US dollars. This is, and gold prices and dollar is higher than ever before. And it's actually, it's not just that it is higher than ever before. It's the speed at which we're hitting these new records is insane. So things are, inflation is at all times high, especially when it comes to food prices. But everything else, like, yeah, the currency is dropping like a rock. And this is just the beginning, guys. Again, um, if we continue this way, the worst is about to happen in about 3 or 4 months, if the analysts are correct. Because remember, the Islamic Republic still has oil to sell, not oil to export, but oil to sell, right? Because people are like, where's the Islamic Republic? Where do they have this oil? How are they selling it, right? A lot of people think that because you can't get oil out, that means that you can't sell any oil. No, but you can't, because the blockade is doing its job perfectly. All the data shows that the United States is very much able to stop oil leaving the Persian Gulf area. But if you guys remember, the blockade was removed temporarily after the MOU was signed, and a lot of oil tankers made it out when the blockade was removed. So that means that there are millions of barrels of oil in oil tankers sitting at these oil tankers in around the Malaysia and close to China, and they're just sitting there. And every day they're selling them to China, and China is buying them, right? In fact, China is buying them at a premium price this time. So even though there's no oil making it out of the Persian Gulf area, those barrels are sitting there around China, and Chinese refineries, these teacup refineries, as they call them, because they're very small, and they are good at going around the U.S. sanctions. They're actually designed for that. Some of them are. They keep buying oil from these tankers on a daily basis, and the prediction is that they're gonna, if the blockade continues, because you cannot keep filling these, because there's nothing adding to it. The prediction is that in 3 or 4 months we will run out. Now, as Nail Bunny mentioned last time, 3 or 4 months, that's a long time. Um, so that's why Scott Bessent is going to announce soon, um, on Monday, he's going to announce new sanctions and new ways for to stop the Islamic Republic from to sell its oil. And hopefully on Monday we're going to hear about China, because he said this is going to be a big deal. Hopefully it's not going to be underwhelming. Hopefully, like, because when it comes to code, because I think I'm going to quit my cloud code, because I think it's slowing my computer down. Doing operations in the background. Okay, so I'm back, right? Yes. So because when it comes to import and export of uh, non-oil goods and services, the main countries are still China, UAE, um, Pakistan, Turkey, Iraq. But so with UAE out of the picture now, every like the number one priority should be China. And to stop China from doing both oil trade and non-oil trade with the Islamic Republic is going to be way more difficult than anything else. Way more difficult, because China has the power to respond economically. So we have to say, if United States is willing to go all out against China doing trade with the Islamic Republic, because if they do, this would be as some one economic analyst said, would be uncharted territory. Like, this would be a level of isolation. It's already a level of isolation that hasn't been seen before. But if they could add that on top of that, then it would be like that more so. But even with the current level of isolation, the Islamic Republic seems to have 3 or 4 more months before things get really bad. So imagine how bad things are. As Jose said, the dollar hit 2 million reals today, but people are predicting I don't know if it's true, but people are predicting that what's about to hit Iran is far, far worse than what we're seeing right now, which I can't even imagine what that's going to look like. So the Iranian people are also going to be in much, much worse situation than they are right now. Once that happens, but hopefully that leads to the fall of the Islamic Republic. Mohsen Rezaei today came out and yesterday came out and gave a whole bunch of new statements on the Islamic Republic State TV. He issued a major warning to all the countries who would participate in Scott Bessent's isolation of the Islamic Republic. And he said that we will consider that an attack. And first, we will warn those countries, and then we will do like an attack, a major attack against the countries who participate with the Americans. They will consider that as war against the Islamic Republic. So a lot of people might not understand, like, aren't isn't the Islamic Republic already bombing its neighbors? Yes, but what they're promising is something much more significant, which is basically heading the civilian infrastructure at a level that they haven't done yet, right? And the only reason why they haven't done yet is because if you cross that line, then United States will start crossing that line as well. But both sides are basically, it's a game of chicken. Who will hit civilian infrastructure of the other side at that scale first? Because the Islamic Republic has hit civilian infrastructure as a warning, but not to the point of trying to completely, because they could go all out on energy infrastructure, water desalination, and data centers if they wanted to. And the only reason why they haven't done so is because they're afraid of the consequences, because the United States could then go do the same thing and go all out. But he's now warning. The fact that Mohsen Rezaei is now warning that shows that they're feeling the pain, and they know that this is their weakness, that it could that this is starting to really, really hurt. The Islamic Republic is admitting the pain, um, in a way that they haven't done before, because usually these people like to pretend that it's all good, and we can survive this. But we saw both Ghalibaf and Pezeshkian coming out and saying that this is unbearable. Ghalibaf actually went as far as saying that we will not be able to survive this if we don't come up with this, which is a huge admission. In fact, today I saw so many newspapers of the Islamic Republic are now condemning these types of statements from Pezeshkian, Hemmeti, the head of the central bank of the Islamic Republic, and Ghalibaf, saying that they are spreading. They're being defeatist and spreading a narrative of weakness to our enemies by doing so. By the way, Mohsen Rezaei, which again, remember, has been newly appointed as part of the National Security Council, as the head of the National Security Council by the office of Mujtaba Khamenei. They say by Mujtaba Khamenei. We don't know if that's true because we don't know if he's alive or not, but either by him or the people who are speaking on his behalf, which means that Mohsen Rezaei speaks for the supreme leadership more than anyone else when it comes to military stuff right now. And he just came up with a nuclear threat, talking about what the United States has done has made everybody want to get a nuke, and directly, basically, also threatening that, suggesting that they're going to go and their strategy is go for a nuke as well. The fact that somebody who is this directly representative of Mujtaba Khamenei is now talking about uh, going nuclear shows that the Islamic Republic is feels desperate and in great need to advertise its deterrence capabilities that it doesn't have, but is threatening that they might have. By the way, who's modding today?
That would be me.
Okay, so thank you, Nelbany. All right, so yes, that was a long talk. Sorry. Do we have any twos?
Yeah, first is Sherry.
I have two quick questions. When you say Iran RGC has oil to sell, is it real oil or is it oil that's going to kill everybody's engines? Do they have the ability to turn oil into gasoline?
Yeah, no, that's real oil, and that is real oil in oil tankers sitting on, yeah, China, yeah. No, nobody would buy that. What you're thinking of that will destroy people's cars, that's not the oil. That is basically car fuel after the refining of oil, right? You won't be able to sell oil that is not oil to countries. They won't buy it. What you're thinking of is what you sell at the consumer level, right? At the consumer level, at the gas station, right, where people, um, yeah. So that's what you're thinking of. Like giant companies and refineries around the world are not going to pay billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars for something that is not oil. We're talking about crude oil.
Does the RGC have the ability to process oil into gasoline, or do they depend on someone else?
They have some refineries, which is not enough. This is why they have to buy. That's a really good question, Sherry. It's actually something very embarrassing for the Islamic Republic, because they are one of the countries with the most amount of oil and gas without the ability to produce enough car fuel for themselves. They have to export the oil, get other people to refine it, and then import the fuel to be able to use it, which is embarrassing. So they have refineries, but it's not enough. And one of their main sources for car fuel is Russia. And given that Ukraine just recently bombed a lot of refineries in Russia, the Islamic Republic, one of the reasons why there is shortages of car fuel in Iran is because of Ukraine attacking refineries in Russia. So, and the reason why there's a shortage and the higher prices of fuel prices. Again, I'm trying not to say gas prices. I know Americans say gas. I'm on purpose saying car fuel, because I don't want the non-Americans to mix a car fuel with natural gas, right? In America, they call car fuel gas, but that's what in the rest of the world, when we say gas, we're talking about natural gas. So I'm just saying car fuel so that people don't get confused. So yeah, so now, that's the reason why there is such a big shortage, and that's why they're mixing it with other stuff that is destroying the cars. And yes, Slava Ukrainian. My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.